Thank you very much for joining IEEE Women in Services Computing Symposium. This is session 5, lightning talk. And my name is Maria Abe, the session chair, and I'm working as a senior software engineer and master inventor in IBM Cloud and Cognitive Software. This year, we organized these lightning talks so that we provide an opportunity for you to present your thought by choosing a topic that you are interested in from 12 options. Firstly, we announced the call for speakers in our website in September, and now we have 4 excellent speakers. Before introducing them, I'd like to inform you that WISC organizers will award the best lightning talks. So it will be announced in our website after symposium, so please don't miss it. And if you have any questions, please post your question at the right pane of your browser anytime. So the first speaker is Shubhi Asthana. She is a research senior software engineer at IBM Almaden Research Center in San Jose. And her research interests are in the area of cloud services, IoT, and predictive analytics. She has developed end-to-end solution and analytical tool for managing complex services on the cloud. I also work with her a little bit. And she received multiple IBM awards. That is the highest technical accomplishment award at IBM, and the corporate award as well. Her topic today is about what are the 2 or 3 new emerging areas of new industries in services computing that you believe will be the most important or impactful. Shubhi, please give us your talk.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mary, for the
Hi,
introduction.
Shubhi.
Hi. Thank you so much for the introduction. Let me share my screen. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, IEEE Services and IEEE Women in Services Computing, as well as Mari and the organizing team for allowing me to share my ideas here. And thank you all for joining this session to listen to my talk. I'm Shubhi Asthana. I am a research senior software engineer at IBM Research Almaden, and I'm going to be giving a sort of a visionary talk on the new emerging areas in services computing, both from research and industry perspective. So there are a lot of emerging areas actually in services engineering, so I won't be able to go over all the topics, especially in depth. But here are a few areas that I think I would like to highlight, and in that, some specific research areas where we can perform more research and hopefully see some good papers next year. So I want to highlight the major trends that are driving the next generation of services. I also want to emphasize on the rapid transformation of emerging technologies in services computing, like AI capabilities, serverless computing with multi-cloud platforms, the 5G, 6G edge services, the proliferation of fog computing, and federated learning as a service. I also would like to talk about COVID-19. How can we tackle COVID-19 through responsible services computing innovation? So these are the emerging areas that I feel are completely changing how services are engineered, developed with high levels of reuse in open and community development models, and delivered to customers. A short bio of myself. I have been at IBM Research Almaden for the past 5 years, and I have been performing research and development and developing end to end solutions. My research areas are cloud services, IoT, and predictive analytics. In my free time, I like to blog, and I also volunteer with Society of Women Engineers, an IEEE local branch, which is the Santa Clara Valley section. So let's start with the first area of how we can embrace AI with services engineering. So services computing and research has been focusing on building services to complete specific tasks like translating softwares, predictive analytics on data, etc. And AI can be leveraged to build hybrid services, to build deep insight into what the customer needs are and yield fast growing market defining areas in services computing. We have seen that there has been a lot of, we have seen the adoption of AI in research and in industry. So I want to highlight, say, in this slide, the fields in gray mean the areas in which research has been done, and the fields in black mean what are the limitations in current work in which we can pursue more research. So, for example, in service oriented business processes, uh, we have seen how AI has been used in cloud based services. Wong, in his IEEE cloud paper in 2018, had talked about cost effective memory scaling in clouds. And he also talked about how AI can transform into pushing this into new markets and building new massive opportunities. However, I feel that we require more research on how we can support unplanned dynamic changes in service oriented business processes. We also have seen that artificial intelligence as a service has accelerated in the past few years, and the use of cloud computing has rapidly increased. Organizations are switching to mix and match of different cloud services, basically building a hybrid or a multi cloud solution and leveraging AI on top of it. What we can do is how we can leverage AI as a service on top of this for enterprise services and integrate it into a full enterprise platform so we can reap benefits like scalability, automation, and quick learning with less history. Also, one of my IBM research colleagues, Maya Vukovic, has performed some work in the area of AI planning for enterprise services, which she had published in a IEEE SCC paper a few years ago. She talked about how we can do AI planning and allow building of automation blueprints. We can leverage this research and perform AI with services on the service QoS as well as DevOps uh, together with enterprise services. And lastly, federated learning as a service. Federated learning is an upcoming area in AI, and a lot of people, including IBM Research, my own colleague Natalie Baracaldo, has been involved in deploying the IBM federated learning framework. Here, we use a federated learning. It is used as an alternative way to do collaborative model training without sharing the training data of services. So such collaboration leads to more accurate and performant models than any party owning these individual models without sharing all of the data sources. So we can leverage this aspect of federated learning and perform research uh, in a services area. We can use data-based models of services of other organizations and use an aggressor, an aggregator in this particular diagram, which can build a better service model than any of these individual models held by the individual parties here. So this is about how we can embrace AI. Next area I can think of is serverless computing with multi-cloud. So research in serverless, say in fog computing, has accelerated. Cheng in his paper in IEEE SCC had talked about a paradigm shift towards fog or edge computing. Also, serverless computing is being promoted by major service cloud providers to support function as a service computing in a lightweight, dynamic, and event driven manner. We also saw that there are a good number of papers last year in the serverless computing workshop. We saw the useful areas here where we are utilizing in applications is like in connected vehicles, drones, cameras, etc. We have seen research for event driven data processing applications like these, and also we saw great application in simulation systems, which uses simulations as a service in serverless computing. So, what more can we do in this space? In my opinion, we can take forward the research in serverless computing by and start open sourcing some of the frameworks for adoption. We can also extend serverless computing for hybrid and multi-cloud. One of the examples, a preliminary research work has been done earlier this year by Zhang, where he talked about Stoic, the diagram of which is on the right side. Stoic stands for Serverless Teleoperable Hybrid Cloud, where it is an application scheduling and deployment system that extends the serverless model. So here, the serverless architecture feeds to the edge cloud and it utilizes the data from the IoT devices. And lastly, we can leverage the machine learning algorithms in learning quickly how to build the components of serverless computing in order to ensure faster and automated processes for users. So that these are the three research areas where I think we can do more focus in serverless computing with multi-cloud. Next topic is 5G, 6G edge services. Now, 5G is a key technology. We all know that edge technology is a crucial part of the 5G, 6G platform, and it provides a first mover advantage for communication service providers in grabbing new opportunities. I saw that there were statistics that by 2023, 5G would be making up around one-fifth of all the mobile data traffic, where 25% of the use cases would depend on edge computing capabilities. So the majority of the new 5G revenue potential is coming from enterprise and IoT services. And so we can say that edge computing is a fundamental technology here. And nevertheless, services research community has been very proactive in this area. There's some of the research challenges I think that require attention and where we can work more is we've seen that there are 6G enabled mobile applications, etc. But we've also seen that the 5G network architecture right now is not real entirely meeting the latency needs, specifically in applications like autonomous driving, which comes down to the next topic about vehicular communications. We did see that machine learning is being leveraged for vehicular communications, but we can work more on building accurate modeling methods for non-stationary communication that requires more than just machine learning and services computing. Or it might require a more better sophisticated algorithm which would work and would meet the latency needs here. And lastly, there are other emerging technologies like blockchain, IoT that we can use as a service enablement on top of the applications that we are building for the 5G, 6G edge services. So these are some of the areas that I think we can focus on. And then lastly, how can we tackle COVID-19 through responsible services computing innovation? So we know that the leaders need to accelerate their journey to the cloud and digitize quickly and effectively. And innovations in civil services engineering over the past few years have played a central role in supporting the global efforts to combat COVID-19. Specifically in addressing issues, a broad range of issues in biomedical and socio-economical challenges. Some of the things that we can do further in this is like services computing. I believe we can work with a new operating model that combines the cloud-based digital technologies and operational capabilities to rapidly accelerate the digital strategy and transformation of organizations. And this model can help build the end-to-end operations, supporting the customers and the employee journeys while taking the technology out of quarantine and making the most of it across all lines of businesses. Also, we can improve their business interaction with services engineering. We also probably think we have some agile manner of going in microservices and digital services composition, but we can do further research and better our development models in this. And then lastly, accounting for the risks. Now, everything in enterprise services implies risk. To mitigate the security and the risk concerns, the resiliency concerns relating to the adoption of the cloud services must be addressed by research, and companies must also take some actions in that scenario. So these are a few areas that I think we should be focusing on, and performing more research to. The services computing has been a great community, and we have seen that the research and industry comes together in not just coming up with the algorithms and the ideas, but also showing the development and integrating it into actual services. I really hope that I've been able to highlight some of the key emerging areas in my talk, and more detailed aspects of it can be discussed further in the symposium, and even through Q&A. So I hope you found my lightning talk insightful and visionary. Thank you. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you very much, Shubi. Do we have any question on the QA pane? I think there's no question. So this is a question from my side. You said one of the emerging area is federated learning, and I saw in your chart that there's a privacy in service. Is that right?
Yeah. So we share back. So I think in federated learning, um, we have seen that different data sets held on around services can be sometimes confidential, especially working in IBM research and working on data sets and the cloud services. I have observed that, and these data sets have to be dealt with a lot of uh, confidentiality, etc. So the data set really relies on how full it is, or how diverse it is with all the options, and how well it can be trained. So sometimes a data set might be very good in just for specific certain kinds of services, or for customers in a specific geography. And if we use federated learning, then we can leverage uh, the platform of federated learning to better our models, so we can do much better predictions. As well as we can use the federated learning to ensure not just privacy of our cloud service as a whole, but also the way we are delivering these services to our customers.
Okay, thank you very much. So is there any question from audience backstage? Okay, thank you very much, Shubi.
Thank you, Mari.
Thank you. So, okay, let's move on to our next speaker. The next speaker is Professor Lin Liu. She is an associate professor with School of Software at Tsinghua University. She is also tutorial chair of this IEEE Services Congress. Her research interests include requirement engineering, engineering methodology for emerging applications in big data, and intelligence services, system security, privacy, and trust. She is a principal investigator in research projects on software requirement engineering, clinical decision support system, and medical big data platform. Currently, she is serving as an associate editor of International Journal of Information System Modeling and Design, and she is also editorial board member of Requirement Engineering Journal of Springer and Journal of Software Chinese. She is also on the program committee of conferences and workshops on requirement engineering and information systems engineering. Today, her topic is about how has COVID-19 changed your personal and or professional life, and how do you maintain mental and physical health? Lynn, please give us your talk.
Well, thanks, Mary, for your
Hello,
excellent
Lynn.
introduction. Hi, we finally meet online. So, yeah, let me share my screen now. Okay. Actually, the question just Marie just introduced was given to us. So we received a set of questions to talk about. What I'm going to talk about is a more relaxed topic. It's like meeting with other researchers and professors in service computing to just talk about life. So I'm going to talk about health and well-being in this global pandemic era. And as Marie has just introduced, I'm from School of Software, Tsinghua University, and our group is also the host of the National Engineering Laboratory for Big Data Software. And we are also the group helping mediate the Tsinghua University Big Data Research Center. So essentially, my current research interest is where big data and software systems meet. And I think the research life has changed a little bit, quite a bit, in this past a few months. So I'm going to talk about that. And then I'll talk about my pet project about health and well-being services. So these are the people where we met in Tsinghua, working on healthcare, big data related topics. This including professors from School of Software, from Information Institute, from School of Medicine, and also Tsinghua Changguang Hospital. So talk about my involvement with service computing. I think since the very early stage when IBM first put service computing as one of the major initiative in year 2006, around that time, I started working on services modeling, especially service requirements modeling, together with our next speaker, Professor Zhi Jing. We organized 7 workshops on requirements engineering for services in SQL, where we mainly talk about how to better model service capabilities and service requests and doing service composition and service recommendations. And later we get a national Science Foundation project based on the insights we got from that line of research. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the changes in life due to the global pandemic. Essentially, we are giving online classes. We are giving online classes and attending conferences, group meetings anywhere from home. And also we have many important meetings online. Well, let me do some change to my slide because it's playing with the time recorded. So I think everybody has probably shared the same experience. We get more time to spend with family, but at the same time, we're teaching and attending conferences or even on duty at home. Actually, the schedule is not any more relaxed than the normal working life. And this semester, we are actually delivering our lectures in hybrid mode. Basically, we have a domestic student sitting in the classroom. Actually, tonight I should have been in the classroom teaching, but then I find it's hard to have this. To miss this chance to talk to everybody online. So I rearranged lecture time. And also, I think one interesting point I want to share with you that we organized in end of August about this workshop on requirements engineering for well-being and aging and health. So at the time, we make this plan of organizing this new workshop at the RE conference. We didn't know that there is going to be this growing interest because of the global pandemic. We just feel that well-being and aging and health is the key needs. We as researchers, we should put more focus on it. And we organized this together with Professor Daniel Amiet from Canada and Eric Yu, also from Canada, U of Toronto, and Mira from Israel. And I think that was probably one of the most successful workshop because we have so many things to share in the workshop. And also, as you may heard from the news, we have this public health school just established. We are trying to tackling the key issues in this area. Take, for example, from the managemental viewpoint, from big data research viewpoint, and public health general principles, etc. So so that's about all the bits and pieces I want to share with you. And then now I'm going to focus more on my new project on healthy aging requirements analysis. Actually, this is a collaborated project together with professors from University of Toronto. And what we find so far is that essentially health aging is a complex and multidisciplinary area where we both have IT people working on data sciences, software engineering, and brain informatics. And we also have medical professionals from School of Medicine and the psychologists, and also engineering disciplinaries, other more traditional ones. So to make this, to understand the problem better, we do need to work together with people from other disciplinary, and also to tackle the problem from our different angle to find a more holistic solution. So services plays a very important role because no one can cover everything, and no one can cover all the key needs of this issue. We need to work together. Take, for example, there is the Age Well project from the U of T team. They have, I think, at least faculties from 4 departments work together. And we also have Professor Cao Chen working on aging project, building smart homes. And we also heard about the UK initiative working on balance AI, and also the Stanford Apple Heart project working with wearable devices together with alerts, medical alerts. So these are all relevant, successful projects that we can build on. And in terms of aging, well, for aging people, this is a very complicated issue. And in age of the COVID-19, actually the aging people also has more difficulties and higher death rates, and also more vulnerable. But how we can help as researchers, as service deliveries, as service providers, we need to think more about the effective solutions for these a group of users. So this is the general architecture presented by Professor Cao Chen in the SOA general architecture, what we can do in a layered style, like the social level, the human-computer interaction services, mobile and computing, mobile and cloud services layer, and also the learning and the service discovery layer, and also the fundamental data and the IoT layer. So all these different kinds of services, how they come together to form a holistic solution to the people in need. That's what we are trying to understand better. So as requirements engineers, we are good at building models and to find out, define the problems better, understand what are the key issues, the key objectives and key needs of the different user groups. For example, based on the the World Health Organization's report on aging and health, we understand that the key factors for healthy aging include these top-level goals, such as personal growth, autonomy, enjoyment, and social relationships with family and friend, and also safety feeling. So all these top-level goals, they actually need technology-enabled services to give support. So how do we learn and grow? We have online classes, online education services for even for aging people, and we also have different kind of housing services to meet the basic needs for aging for senior people, and also we may find the capabilities they have and find the right kind of tasks for them to be able to contribute. So I think under this umbrella, it's about matching the capability with the right needs, so that everybody's most urgent and emerging needs can be satisfied better, can use the service resources more optimal. So I guess I've talked. Basically, it's a quite a broad area to work on. What I'm going to say here is our common interest is building the more, I think, more user-friendly, elderly-friendly services to this user group, and to use the service platform as the enabling technology. So I guess I'm going to end here. I hope it's you find it's somehow relates to what you're interested in. Marie, that's about what I'm going to talk for today.
Hi, Lynn. Thank you very much for your talk. The most impressive part for me is healthy aging is complex and multidisciplinary. This is very strong message because we in IT people tend to think about how to virtualize the physical world to a virtual world. But I think it is important to mix the different types of knowledge
Expertise.
together,
Yeah.
expertise together, and create a new movement toward the after COVID-19. So my question is, the elderly people sometimes difficult to adapt the new technology, I think. For example, mobile devices cannot be used for elderly people like my grandmother or father.
Mm-hmm.
They stick
Mm-hmm.
to use all the technology devices. Do you have any good story how to overcome that kind
Yeah,
of
I think
requirement?
that's very good point, and it's a good question too. Basically, as engineers, we build systems using engineers' thoughts.
Mhm, yeah,
Uh,
yes.
we use menus and we push buttons. But I think today we are seeing more and more devices that is more, it's smarter. Like uh, the cameras could actually speak to your
Mm,
grandma when they
mm,
observe she's in some kind of urgent need.
mm,
So cameras could communicate, or a robot that follows her everywhere. So the robot knows what she might need and then send you an alert. Well, she might got stuck in some kind of task. Maybe you can give a hand. I think those
mm,
are the kind of things we should work on to make
mm,
their life easier. That's
mm.
that's what fascinates me.
Great, great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there any question from audience? No question from audience. So
That's good.
thank you very much, Lynn.
Thanks.
So let me go on to the next speaker. The next speaker is Ji Jin. She is a professor of computer science at Peking University and the deputy director of Key Lab of High Confidence Software Technologies at Peking University. She is program chair in chief of this IEEE Services Congress. Her research work is primarily concerned with requirement engineering and knowledge-based software engineering. Recently, she pays more attention on the modeling of self-adaptive systems. And she was principal investigator of over 15 national competitive grants, including the chief scientist of National Basic Research Project of the MOST of China, and the project leader of 3 key projects of NSF China. She is co-author of 4 books and author over 150 journals and conference publications. She is ISPMA Fellow and CCF Fellow. So her topic is about what are the 2 or 3 new emerging areas of new industries in services that you believe you will be most important or impactful. Jijin, are you on the screen?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the introduction, Mary. Thank you.
Thank you,
And I will
Jijin.
share my screen. Yeah, let's. Yeah, can you hear? Can you see the screen? Can you see? You can see. I guess you can. I would like to talk about my thinking about the trends of for the service computing for tonight's lightning talk. And yeah, this is a very brief introduction for myself. And apart from the publications, and also I like to serve for the community. For example, currently I'm the vice chair of International Requirements Engineering Committee China chapter, and also I'm on the editorial board of several in international journals, and also Chinese journals on the software. So that's yeah, I'm also like a serve for the community. Yeah, these are some selected publications related to service computing. There are many keywords I highlighted in the slides, and from here you may find I'm interested in first of all interested in the requirements engineering, like Professor Liu. Yeah, she's also working in this area, and also I'm more focused on the specification, the capability specification of services, and also the reliability cost of services, and also adaptation quality of services. Yeah, these are my major focuses in this area. And when we're talking about service computing, yeah, there is a picture can come out immediately. That is a triangle. This includes the service consumer, service provider, and also service brokers. And yeah, these 3 group of people has a different interest. For example, for the service provider, they are of technical strategy orientation, and for the service brokers, they are business value orientation. And of course, the service consumer just want to getting help from the services, like Lynn just mentioned. For those aging people, they want to get many help from the IT services. Yeah, there's 3 group of people related to service computing. So in this way, the area of service computing.
Professor G, sorry to interrupt. You're sharing your screen, but we only see the notes view, not the full screen view. You can just switch because we don't see the slides very well. Sorry to interrupt.
You cannot see.
Yeah, you just need to switch. Yeah, that's good.
And that's sorry.
Thank you.
Just start here, and in this way, the service computing area is trying to bridge the gap between the IT techniques and also the business values. That and also the research is going to enable IT techniques and computing technologies to deliver business values more efficiently and more effectively. So in general, service computing, I mean, this is compared with the other area in computer computing area is more business centric. And currently, there is a chance. We can see that many evidence show that more and more smart devices are deployed everywhere around us. There are some statistics. The static research department has shown a report about the total installed base of Internet of Things. Connected devices is projected to amount to 35 billion worldwide by 2025. And also there are another estimation is by 2030, this figure is expected to jump to 125 billion. So lots of smart devices will be around us. Professor Lin has just mentioned many of the visions of the things like smart city, smart health, smart home, smart buildings. Lots of things are becoming smarter and smarter with these devices. And with this background, how the services will go further to enhanced by the Internet of Things. I think Professor Lin also mentioned this point. Is all the services need to be more human-centric, not only for business-centric, because Internet of Things enables the IT technology being tightly integrated with the physical systems and also the social system and also the human with networked sensing, computation, actuating, etc. And those technologies enable the services to make the physical world more intelligent and convenient to a daily life of a human. So in this case, and with all the technical background, what are the new features when we think about the service computing, and when we think about the service design for the deliver the services. So I think three main points. Three important points we need to think about as a new feature. The first one is a self-adaptation. That means when we design a service, we need to design embedded the adaptation features in the services. This is in fact, this is a runtime feature of service delivery, because when we deploy a service, the service may face different user and in different time and in different situation, and they will need to be meet the different needs. So the self-adaptation becomes a necessary feature. And the second point is service design should be of end user value orientated or end user goal orientation. So in Professor Lin's slide that shows goal model. The goal model capture the end user goal, and when we design service or deploy service, we need to think about first if this service can exactly satisfy the user's models. That means not to let user accept the service, but to provide the right service to the right user at the right time. So that is the second point. And the third point is the safety. Because the Internet of Things just connected the IT techniques directly to the human, to the social society, and also to the physical world. So the safety issue becomes also a must be considered features, because the service directed the effect on user through those smart devices, the physical equipment, and we cannot cause any harm or loss to the user. So that's what I'm thinking about the new features of the service computing when we, in this area. And for the last slides, I just want to show the picture we took on Monday in Beijing. Monday morning in Beijing, we hold the physical, face-to-face opening ceremony. This participant from China, and I on behalf of them, I just want to say, welcome. Because originally we will be the host of we would be the host of the Service Computing Congress, but unfortunately we can have only virtual version. So hope in near future we can also be a host again. So thank you. I think I will stop here. Yeah, thank you, Mary. Yeah.
Oh, I am mute, sorry. Thank you very much, Jijin. Your presentation is very great. And your presentation said service design should be of end user value orientation, right?
Yeah.
It is necessary to deliver right service to the right user at the right time. It is very difficult to realize soon, I imagine. And my question is, what kind of technical area supports that framework? What kind of, for example, traditional area, technical area supports the framework? For example, big data analytics is very important, I think. But what is key technology to support your framework?
Yes. I think the first thing in my mind is the framework. The architecture. We think we may need a new architecture for the service deployment. The first thing in my mind is the control theory as the basis of the architecture. Because when you want to deliver the right service at the right time, you need to know which kind of service they want. So you need to monitor the environment, monitor the user, the situation around the service, around the user, and then of course, and then you can recognize and guess the user need any kind of help. So, and then decided what you want to do for the user. So this monitor, plan, and deploy this control loop is the general architecture could become the general architecture of the service deployment framework. So that is what I think this changes here, and also you are right on the. I mean, when we need to recognize the right needs of the user, we need to do the using big data technique to train models, and then that the models has a capability to know the needs of the user. So that's also another point, and also AI technique can be used here. I mean, this many new techniques that are needed.
Thank you very much. Because I'm working on IoT technology in IBM, I'm curious about digital twin that brings the physical world, brings to the virtual world to simulate yourself like a smart agent. So my question was from my interest. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I have a different question from backstage. Let me read out. What key technologies do you think will be necessary to provide the customization needed to provide the right service to the right person at the right time?
Or 5G,
It
yes,
is
yes, of course. I think 5G can make the communication more, quickly, and also transfer message very quickly, and then they can get let the service deployment more efficient and also on time. Just deliver the service on time. I think, this is a very, the infrastructure. That's a good infrastructure for the smart services.
okay. So let me go on to another question. What are your thoughts on enterprise services in IoT?
Enterprise services in IoT. Yeah, that is a big question, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, that's related to the enterprise, and currently we can see many work on smart manufacturing, and when deploy different device in the product line something, and you can, if you use this can make the manufacturing more smart, and also I think this is good. Will be the very good chance of the service computing, or going to this area.
Yeah, it is very challenging, I think, because under the COVID-19 situation, a lot of manufacturing lines stopped periodically. So that makes very impact on the end user too. So it might be resolved by services computing technology.
And I agree with you. The service computing will have a very bright future, I think, in the world.
So thank you very much. If we don't have any questions. Okay, thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And let me go on to the next speaker. Last but not least, I'd like to introduce Yame Zhang. She is an associate professor of Information School, Central University of Finance and Economics in Beijing, China. And she is a committee chair of Young Experts in IEEE Services Computing. She received her PhD degree in 2010, and she was a visiting scholar with Northwestern University, Evanston. Her current research interests include services computing and data mining. Her topic is about what life advice would you offer to your younger self if you could go back in time. It's very interesting. Professor Yame, if you are ready, please give us your talk. You unmute. You should unmute. Yame. Hello?
Good evening, Mary.
Hi, Yame. How are you?
Great.
So
Thanks.
if you share your screen,
Yeah, I think I'm sharing my screen.
great.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yame Zhang. I come from the Central University of Finance and Economics. My research interests include service computing, data mining, finance technologies. I have two papers accepted by IEEE Services 2020. ICWS and ICC, since I will have to make two paper presentation on the conference, so I choose a topic about life tonight. What life advice would you offer to your younger self if you could go back in time? If I could go back, as a professor, I love my job. I love teaching. I love doing research. I especially love instructing students how to do research. Being a professor, I think was the best choice when I was young, but I still have some regrets. If I could go back to my youth, I would have told myself, if I feel right, do it boldly. If I feel right, do it boldly. I would train myself boldly, work boldly, and live boldly. When I was a young PhD student, influenced by the traditional exam-oriented education, I could get high scores in exams. But I have been troubled by insufficient scientific research ability for several years when I was a PhD student, and I was last for several years when I was a young professor. Now I understood scientific research need higher level cognitive ability that is different from the lower level cognitive ability required to pass exams. So if I could go back to my youth, I would like to do more training on higher level cognitive ability, such as mathematics ability that can solve the complex problem in reality with appropriate algorithms, the illustration ability that can illustrate the complex problem or ideas logically and thoroughly. The high-level writing skills in both Chinese and English that can express I want to express clearly, logically, and thoroughly. So if I could go to my youth, I would like to tell myself, treat yourself boldly, don't be too gentle. After graduating as a professor, I became a young professor. When facing new research topic, I was puzzled. At that time, without the guidance of my supervisor, I was a little puzzled. Should I continue my this topic or my PhD thesis, or should I continue a new topic to combine the economic characters into my old research? At that time, I do have some novel ideas, but I hesitate. Because I worried about the time cost of failure. Until years later, when I see some related articles published, I was a bit regretful. It was said that studying a new research topic, just like climbing up a new mountain. To climb up a higher mountain, you have to come down from the current one first. It may need courage. It may take time, but you will have a chance to see different view, to see a more beautiful view. So if I could go back to my youth, I would tell myself, do it boldly, push yourself, don't settle. When I was young, I spent more time indoors. I study in the library or laboratory. I stay at home watching TV or just reading. I think I should try to climb out my little box at that time, travel more places, participate in more conferences, make more friends, and try more sports. So if I could go back to my youth, I would tell myself, live boldly. Don't be afraid of experiencing more. Dear young friend, if you have similar problems, just as me, I would like to tell you, to show your true colors, you have to come out the shell. If it be right, do it boldly. At last, I would recommend a movie to you. Me Before You. It was a beautiful, moving, and encouraging TV. The famous will always remind me, live boldly, push yourself, don't settle. I think tonight this topic is fit for young students. Thank you.
Thank you, Yame. It was a lot of your story, and I agree with you, especially for mathematics ability, because after I joined IBM Research, I changed my expertise sometimes, and now I have to understand a deep learning algorithm that requires mathematical theory or statistics and algebra. So if I go back to my younger time, and I would like to give myself to study mathematics more.
Yeah, that was my story. Whenever I have new students, I will tell them my story.
Yes, and you introduced Me Before You. Is that a famous movie in the US?
Yes, it's one of my favorites. One of my favorite movie.
I see. So I tried that after that session. So thank you very much, Yame.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank all speakers and the audience for providing such an interesting session. I believe the audience enjoyed today's lightning talks a lot, and this session is now closed. And I'd like to pass back to Kauta, if you are online.
Yes, thank you so much, Mary. And thank you for all our speakers and also for all the attendees. I think this has been really a wonderful 2 days that we've had as part of the Women in Services Symposium. I hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I did myself. I really learned a lot from the technical talks and also from the lightning talks. We had wonderful keynote sessions by Garki from IBM Research, by Welo from K2 Data. Also, congratulations to her on winning the award. And our panel also was really rich. We've heard from entrepreneurs, from professors, and from PhD students how they managed to balance their life and challenges, their thoughts on the future of services computing and the role that women should play in that. The lightning talks were really enjoyable. On topics, related to COVID, emerging areas, and also the last one that we've heard that I really enjoyed a lot from Yamni, advice to my younger self. So being bold and don't settle. So I
Yes.
hope we never settle, that we always try to push out the boundaries. And I hope, I wish everyone all the best, and looking forward to the next edition of the Women in Service Computing edition. So stay tuned for that. We'll share the program and details as soon as those are ready. We hope you'll join us again. And thank you everyone.